you tell me how you first met?
Well, we like to tell a story because we met on University Avenue in Riverside, which was notorious for people running loose with drugs and prostitution. And so we tell people a little story to be funny that know that area. We say we met on University Avenue in Riverside in a defunct motel. And people kind of think it's funny when they know the area. But actually we were met at a couples singles dance. Singles dance, not really couples. So go ahead.
Well, you paid a big $7 to go, and they would have a DJ there in Riverside. It was just a few miles from my house. I hated going to it. Every time I'd go, I do not want to go to one of these stupid dances. But I'd always promise myself that if I didn't like it, I could leave. So I went, and I was dancing, and I came back to the table where I was sitting, and there was this man in my chair, and he'd put his coat over the one empty chair next to him. So I asked him if he would move his coat so I could sit down.
That happened to be me.
And then I gave you a bad time too about that he had taken my chair.
And then everybody at the table said, yeah, you did, you took it.
And so then he was all kind of flustered, but then he realized I was kidding. And then he asked me to dance, and that was it for me.
Wow.
That first dance.
You must be a good dancer.
Well, she says I am. She says I'm the only one she'd ever danced with that she could dance with.
And that I felt comfortable.
So.
I'm sorry. I knew this was going to get me, so
Oh, really?
I even brought my own Kleenex.
Okay.
Okay, well, you're entitled. This is a sweet time. And I've been doing this, and I'm behind the camera getting weepy, so.
So focus on him while I dry my eyes. Ask the next question.
So, the first dance, you got swept off your feet, and how long did you guys take before you got married?
Well, I had a rule of my own. I was not going to marry anybody till I'd known them and dated them for at least 18 months. That was my own rule because I want to make sure I got to know somebody. And so it was like a day after the 18 months, I had a candlelight dinner for Bonnie on the table, and I got down on my knee, and she said, "Oh no."
I came home from work, and he was at my house, and there was this candlelight. It was in the breakfast room, and when he got down on his knee, I went, "Oh my God." So.
But then she said yes.
Yeah, that's all that counted. Right?
Well, it was funny too because I was actually kind of wishing he'd asked me to marry him, and I don't know how I was doing it, but I was kind of hinting, and finally he said, well, I have this 18-month rule. So then I knew, and I quit not worrying about it. But he had this thing about you have to know someone 18 months before you talk about marriage. So.
And we took a family trip too with the kids, which was like a week long on a car. I figured that was a good test. Test everybody working together. And it did. Worked really well.
We had a really nice vacation with the kids.
So you've been married now 13
years. But we always say we've been married 33 because each of us were married 20 years before.
Previously.
So.
And do you have some words of wisdom to people who are just starting out that helped you diffuse conflicts and so forth as you're getting adjusted to each other?
That's her department.
As far as words of wisdom, the thing that I think is that I really feel great about is I feel like I really found a partner. And I think that's important. Before you don't solve these problems after you're married, you look into it before. And just, to me, you want somebody who's just really there, that's your partner in whatever you're doing, having fun or working or raising kids. We just really partner well, I think.
Supportive, I guess.
Well, thank you. Appreciate it.